Hi, welcome to Farm Bread. I'm Kate. So today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious pumpkin seed sourdough that's really simple but really robust in flavor. And everyone that you share it with is absolutely going to love it. So this bread's inspired by my recent trip to Denmark. My cousin and his wife had picked up this incredible loaf of bread, and I really felt like, oh my God, like once I tried it, I just had to try and make it at home. So it's definitely a Danish-inspired loaf of bread. Excuse my rooster. Louis is saying hello. So we sliced the bread. We had it with cheese on toast in the mornings for breakfast. And then we even sliced it for sandwiches or the smulbrot. I'm sure I said that really horribly, but those are the open face sandwiches for lunch. But really, it just has such an amazing flavor. And the bread that they made was just really light and fluffy with these beautiful little pumpkin seeds spread throughout the crumb, and this like dusting of flour and poppy seed on top. It was just a really beautiful loaf, but so delicious and flavorful. What was really surprising to me was that I typically would think that my kids might kind of stay away from something with pumpkin seeds and poppy seeds and all the seeds. But I have to tell you, once I made it at home, I took it out of the oven and the whole house smelled delicious, as it usually does when you bake homemade bread. But once I sliced it, we literally devoured 3/4 of a loaf. And I kid you not, it was so delicious with just a little bit of butter spread on top, straight out of the oven. No, we did not wait for it to fully cool. It's really hard to do that. I'm sure you understand. But yeah, we devoured the loaf. So this is definitely a kid-friendly loaf. I would say straight out of the oven always wins over a day old, but it's kid-friendly and it's really versatile. It's just an all-around great loaf of bread. So I hope you really enjoy it. As always, I am working this around my schedule. I'm keeping it simple. You know me, I need to keep things as simple as possible. We are busy and we have got a lot of soccer games going on today. So I'm going to be working the process around my schedule, and you can definitely do the same. I'm going to do as many folds as I can fit in, which typically is around 2 to 3. It's hard for me to be able to get more in, but if you have the time and you want to do it, it can only help your crumb and the rise and the oven spring. I will be using my trusty friend, the ankarsrum, today to speed up the process and also keep my hands nice and clean. I am also making a batch of 3 loaves today, so that ankarsrum would definitely help in that process with any stretching and folding. And then also I'm going to be able to freeze a couple of these loaves for later, and then also to share with my dad. I'm going to be visiting my dad in a couple weeks, so I'm excited to share this with him and see what he thinks. I think one of the really cool things about sourdough is experimentation and playing around with different flavors and seeds. In this recipe, I'm going to be using pumpkin seeds inside, as well as poppy seeds on the outside. But I'm curious, what seeds do you like to use? Do you have a favorite, or is there a seed that you haven't used before that you want to use, but you're not sure how? I'm really curious. So let me know in the comments below. I'd love to have a seed conversation. I think that would be really neat to hear what you think. So definitely comment below. Also, if you're enjoying this content, please do like and subscribe and share this video with others. All right, let's get started. Okay, I have zeroed out my scale to grams, and we're going to start with our starter. So because we are doing a triple batch, I am going to add 240 grams of active bubbly starter. Make sure that you feed your starter ahead of time so that it's nice and active and bubbly when you are ready to go. Okay, I'm going to zero out my scale again, and we are going to add 1,095 grams of warm, just tap water. And now I'm just going to stir these together. Okay, well, I just realized that when I added my butter, it did not catch on video. So I added 60 grams of melted butter, and now I've zeroed out my scale, and I'm going to add about 60 grams of, this is a raw organic sugar. And I'm just going to give these a good stir before I add my flours and salt. Okay, zeroing out my scale, and then I'm going to add 1,500 grams of a organic bread flour. Okay, and then our last ingredient is a pink Himalayan salt. So zeroing out my scale, and I'm going to be adding 33 grams of this pink Himalayan salt. So now that we have all our ingredients in our bowl, I am going to move this over to our ankarsrum and start to blend everything together using the mixer. I'm going to attach my dough knife and then squeeze my roller down in here. Bring the arm over, set it up. Now I'm going to turn this on low, and I'm going to pull my arm out just so we don't have too much dough coming up over top of the roller. In fact, I'll just position my arm and place there. Turn the speed up a little bit. Get the flour off the top of the roller as it comes together. We just want the dough to come together nicely. Make sure there's no dry spots. Looking pretty good. I think everything is mixed well. So now I'm just going to turn the mixer off. I'm going to cover it with a wet towel or a moist towel, and we're going to let it sit for about 30 minutes. As our dough is getting ready to rest for 30 minutes, I am going to put about 225 grams of raw organic pumpkin seeds into a bowl, and then I'm going to let them soak for that half hour as well. So 225 grams of pumpkin seeds. I'm just going to cover them with water. Welcome back. It's been about 30 minutes. Our dough has rested, and now I'm going to add our pumpkin seeds and start to combine those, and then do just kind of a nice reshaping of the dough, if you will. Kind of like a fold or a stretch. So I did drain my pumpkin seeds, so I'm gonna pour those in now. Okay, and then I'm just gonna turn my mixer on. Low to start. So you can see I still have my arm positioned in towards the center right now. Turn the speed up a little bit. Just want to make sure that we combine all of the pumpkin seeds. There we go. Getting incorporated. Increase the speed, maybe to the medium. I'm looking at the pumpkin seeds. They seem to be collecting in certain areas, so I'm just gonna increase the speed a little bit more and maybe to medium for about maybe 30 seconds to a minute. I think that's good. Turn this off, and then I'm just gonna let this sit for about an hour, and then I will come back and do another spin with our mixer just to help strengthen the dough. Since it's towards the evening, I have time to do this, and so I'm gonna run out, drop my son off at soccer, and then I'll come back and see you in about an hour.
Yep, see you in an hour.
It's been about an hour, and now we are just going to come back in and do kind of a little spin with our ankarsrum to kind of simulate what we would do with stretching and folding. So I'm just going to turn this on low to start. I'll turn the speed up a little bit. I think that should be good. I'll let this rest for another 30 minutes to an hour and come back and we'll do this again. Okay, we are back. This is starting to look really nice and bubbly. So I'm just, again, gonna turn the mixer on and do a gentle stretching. For maybe 30 seconds to a I'm liking how this is looking. So because I'm home and I have the time, I think I will come back one more time in about 45 minutes. We'll do this again, and then we're gonna just let it sit for the remainder of the bulk rise. Okay, we are back. I'm gonna do one last stretch with our mixer, and then I'm gonna let it enter the, oh, now my cat is saying hello. Hi, Nellie. And then we're going to enter the bulk rise overnight. So one last quick stretch here, and then we're going to let it sit overnight. I'm going to start it off on low. It's definitely coming together really nicely, more as a dough. Turn it up. Okay. Now I am going to take the roller and the dough knife out, and then we will let this rise. Looking at this, and I just don't think this has enough flour. So I'm just going to add in a little bit of flour. Okay, so I don't know if it's because it's a rainy day or what, or maybe my scale is off, but I'm just, as I was taking the roller out, I'm looking at this texture, and there's too much hydration. So I'm actually going to add some flour. And I'm just going to mix it. Got like a we are just going to wing it. It's one of those things. You win some, you lose some. So I added probably a cup of flour. I know I'm going from grams to this American measurement. All right, so I'm adding in more flour. I'm just going to work with it the way it is and see if this helps a little bit. I think this texture is more in line with what we need. And we will just hope that this works out. You know, I feel like every time I have a rainy day, it always messes with my measurements. And so I think we've had a lot of storms lately, and I think it's just completely changing the measurements today on us. All right, we'll grab this out. We're going to let it rest this overnight, and we'll see how it looks in the morning. Okay, good morning. It is the next morning, and it is pretty early, but I'm trying to get this done before I go to work, before I get the kids to school and all of that. So let's take a look. All right, my dough has risen. So now we are going to lay this out onto a floured surface. I'm going to separate this into 3 loaves, and then we're going to proof in the refrigerator all day. Now you can see the dough's risen. I can definitely see some nice bubbles forming. So I feel like this is ready. I had some challenges last night with the dough. Just being a little too hydrated, and I've noticed that is a consistent issue that I've had when it rains here, and it was storming yesterday, and so I should have taken that more into consideration. Okay, I can tell I'm gonna need a lot of flour. Sprinkle some flour, and we're going to try to separate this into about 3 different loaves. This is definitely more wet than I like. So just sprinkle the top of each one with some flour, and then I will do a quick shaping before I put it in the proofing basket. For the shaping, use your bench scraper. At this point, you just want to lightly fold it together. Make a present, pulling each side up and over. Sprinkle more flour. In hindsight, I just should have added more flour from the start. we'll try to bring this back in our cold ferment. See what we can do to save it. Okay, now I'm going to let these sit, and I'm going to flour our proofing baskets really well, given how hydrated these loaves are. Okay, we're back. We're going to do one quick last fold and shape before I put it in our proofing basket. Sprinkle with a good amount of flour before we put this into our proofing basket. So here we're going to add the poppy seeds. Taking some shape now. Shape up. Right before we put it in the proofing basket as well. All right. My goal right now is just to make the shape of the loaf. Then we're going to spray the top with some water. gently sprinkle poppy seeds on the top. I have a bulk bag of organic poppy seeds that I purchased off Amazon. Okay. There we go. Make sure, again, our baskets are nice and floured. Our hands are floured. And then we're going to go in, tighten up the shape a little bit more. And I am going to make 3 oval loaves. So, like so. There we go. I'm going to sprinkle some flour again over top. You flip the loaf upside down as you're putting it in. So the poppy seeds are going to go down into the loaf, the proofing basket. Tighten the shape. I'm also going to sprinkle some more flour. There you go. That loaf looks a little bit bigger than the other one. That's okay. And our last loaf. If you need, make sure you have flour on your bench scraper while you do this so it doesn't stick. Okay. I'll sprinkle a little bit of flour on the edges. Like that. And into your, so here we go. We've got 3 loaves. Definitely have like a little baby over here and the 2 larger ones. I didn't weigh them out. I was just trying to get the dough in. So I eyeballed it, which is fine. This one might cook a little bit faster, but in general, we'll be okay. All right, I'm gonna put some plastic around these, and then I'm going to put these into our refrigerator for a cold ferment today. And then when I get back this evening, we are going to bake. Okay, so I am back from work and I have decided to preheat my oven to 450 degrees. I just took our loaves, which have definitely increased in size as well during the bulk or the cold ferment. And they're looking pretty good. So I am now letting these, they won't fully come to room temperature, but they'll just set out for a little bit while the oven preheats. And then we are going to bake them at 450 degrees. I'll show you, I have my clay bakers inside as the oven is preheating. You always want to do that when you're using clay bakers. All right, our oven has preheated. So we are going to start putting our loaves in to bake. Taking each one out one at a time. And I will pour our dough in. And then we also want to score our loaves. So that like a nice crisscross kind of look would be really pretty. Okay, and we're going to cover it back up. We've got 2 more to do. My daughter's eating some yogurt right here, and my dog is walking around. My husband's in the room, so we got lots going on. So hopefully you can hear me okay. There we go, number 2. really see the poppy seeds so nicely. And a little pumpkin seed popping through. So that's number 2. Gunther, watch out. One more. Our little loaf. Ah! Boy, Gunther is thirsty. My May is falling apart on me, on my lom. Okay. Maybe we don't give him water next time I'm filming. All right, last one in the oven. And I'm going to bake these for 25 minutes covered. And then at the 25-minute mark, I will take the lids off and let them cook for another roughly 25 minutes uncovered. All right, we'll see you then. Okay, our timer has gone off. It's been 25 minutes, so I'm going to take the lids off of our breads. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yay, they're looking good. Okay. And we're going to cook for roughly 25 to 30 more minutes, depending on how they're looking. Okay, so I'm going to take the little one out. The timer went off. I actually, a couple minutes ago, I just tinted their others because they were getting a little bit dark. So I'm tinting those with tin foil as they cook maybe 2 to 3 more minutes. But this is our beautiful first loaf, the small loaf. And then the others are going to cook for like 2 to 3 minutes more. Okay, now I'm going to take the second one out and leave the biggest one in for just a couple more minutes. These are looking really great. Ended up working out pretty well, despite our challenge with the hydration. I think we were able to come up with a good solution, and we're getting a nice oven rise. So I'm really excited about these. Okay, and we're gonna take our last one out. Tin foil. This is our largest loaf. Wow, it looks really great. I'll take that out for a sec. All right, there you have it. 3 beautiful pumpkin seed loaves with poppy seeds on top. And we will cut them open for you, show you the crown once they've had a chance to cool. I'm so excited because after having a couple of challenges last night with the hydration of the dough, I wasn't sure, but it did rise nicely. And I think having the bulk fermentation overnight and then a nice cold ferment during the day really helped it as well. And I bet the flavor is going to be outstanding. But I'm super excited. Blake is super excited. I was thinking maybe we would wait till tomorrow morning to cut it open, but Blake really wants to try it right now, right? She's my cinematographer or my filmmaker right now. So she's gonna film while I cut this open. So here we go. I'm gonna slice it down the middle so you can kind of get a look for the crumb. Yeah, all right. So that's what our crumb is like. You can see the beautiful pumpkin seeds, nice and airy. Pumpkin seeds are spread throughout, and then I'll do a little slice. This is really a beautiful loaf to share with friends and family. All right, it's a nice slice. And I'm really enjoying the butter, a little butter and a little sugar lately. I think it really gives it a really nice flavor. Some butter on top. How's that, Blake? Got more or?
Oh, yeah, more.
More butter. Butter makes it better. How's that?
Yeah, it's good.
All right.
And cut it in half.
Cut it in half. You get half, I get half. All right, here we go. The flavor of the sesame or the pumpkin seed is so nice. All right, you can see we've got this beautiful crumb with really delicious pumpkin seeds. Beautiful outer layer, outer crust with some fun little poppy seeds, and just a really nice crumb that's soft. So there you have it, my Danish-inspired pumpkin seed sourdough. It is a crowd pleaser. It's absolutely delicious, and it's really beautiful looking. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did have a little bit of a whoops there in the middle when I was trying to make a batch of 3 on a really rainy day. So it just goes to show that the more you make at a time, the more complexity you add, the more room for error. But I want to say, just if anything like that happens to you when you're baking, don't give up. Like, think about what are the ways that you could fix the situation. And so I suspected right away that it was a little bit too wet. I thought maybe with my kneading and folding or my stretching and folds, I would kind of help or remedy that situation, but it just wasn't working. And so I needed to add a little bit more flour. And I did all of that before the bulk rise and the cold ferment. And so it really didn't matter. It helped remedy the situation. And you know what? We ended up getting some great loaves out of it. We can call that my magical whoops moment. You know what? I'm not perfect. Nobody is. And so we still have issues that arise here and there, but hopefully we can all learn from that and continue to make great bread. Don't be discouraged. Know that most of the time we can probably fix it. Especially when you're doing a batch of 3, like I was really kicking myself thinking, oh my gosh, what if I just wasted all this flour and whatnot? So yeah, definitely use your instinct, trust your gut, and see how you can fix the situation without giving up. All right. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you try this. The recipe will be in the comments and in the description below. I would love to hear how it goes and what you think. And as always, like, subscribe, share if you're enjoying this content. I so appreciate your feedback and your comments. And if you did have any suggestions at that point that I was at when I noticed that it was just way too hydrated, I think possibly my scale might have been malfunctioning and I just didn't measure correctly, or I know when it's raining and there's a lot of moisture in the air, that really can affect your dough. So anyways, if anybody has any feedback on that, I would love to hear it. I think we can always learn and grow. So I appreciate you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.